Welcome to the Company of One podcast. This is episode 209. And today we're going to be talking about how to find the time when you are already busy. So, welcome to the podcast. We're diving into a topic that I hear so often about people feeling like they are just way too busy and they don't have time to start a business because they have, a life, they have a job, they have kids, they have all kinds of things going on, especially those of us that maybe are more senior in our careers and we just feel like it's just nonstop. We're always on call. We're always involved in meetings and decisions, and sometimes we just have what we would call decision overload. But yet, many of us are watching, and we're looking out there at what people are doing in society. Sometimes they look like they're much more successful in the sense that they seem to have more freedom. And we're looking for something different, right? And so what I've been working on lately is just an escape plan for the overworked professional, right? Which is probably all of us. And let's not make false promises. Maybe part of the overwork is maybe who we are. But what if you want a little bit more control? That's what, and over the couple of last many years, I've been teaching people how to take better control of their job, on their day job, and recently just really started drilling in and working on people who wanted to escape, for lack of a better word. Now, many people are thinking about, hey, I'm going to retire, or I've been doing this for 10 years, 15, 20 years, whatever, you pick a number. And so we are looking for some options there. And that's what I want to walk through right now. So the issue, one of the big issues I hear is I just don't have time. And many people I've worked with, they've had some ideas and they'll come back to me and later, and they're just like, well, I just haven't had time. And that later may be a month, a week, 6 months, a year. And we don't have time, or we feel like it. And you know where I'm going, right? We have the time that we choose to make. We all know that. We tell our kids that. But I do want to show you the realism, because what I am finding is that we sometimes don't have a good view of what a company looks like. Especially if you've never done anything, if you've never had a small company, or you've never done anything on a side hustle, this is the word we use. We don't necessarily have a clear view, because we put it in perspective of what we see in the big giant companies. For me, it was a Fortune 100. Lots of complications, lots of things, lots of meetings, incredible numbers of policies and things which we laugh at and we make fun at, but we also feel like we need those things because there's some value to them, right? Or at least that's how business is done. So what I want to talk through is just, hey, how do you get this done? Because we can make it happen. You can make it happen. This is not a superhuman feat. This is not only for the people who, are the Donald Trumps of the world and don't get, or Elon Musk, and there's several other, and usually these people that are driven to the point they don't get a lot of sleep and that's all they think about is work. That's not what we're talking about here. So let me just tell you this story that it was a wake-up call for me. I'm sitting there teaching a graduate level class in engineering at the university, and we had a lot of foreign students from India. In this case, they were coming in here, and these students were telling me, they came up after class, there's 3 of them, and they said, this is just overload. What you're giving us is too much to do. And I'm like, okay, what else are you doing? And they were taking, another class or 2. And that was it. And there was a guy in the class that I knew that had a job. He was a professional. He had 7 children at home. And he was taking this class as well as another class. So he was taking 2, not the 3. So I looked at him and I had, Steve, How are you? Is this too much? You doing all right? He said, no. He says, I can handle it. We're good. And I just looked back at them and I said, he's got 7 kids at home and a full time job. It's hard for me to have sympathy for you. I mean, maybe that was mean of me, but look, the guy was. I mean, we've heard the thing before. If you want something done, get a busy person to do it because that's what's going to happen. Steve was sitting here saying, I can pull this off because I can just manage the priorities in a way. And again, not any superhuman feat. So a lot of people are saying, I'm looking for time. You know what? So is everybody else. It's kind of like looking for the gold at the end of the rainbow. There is no time, right? We are not going to create time or find time. We have to make time. We all know that. And so I'm just going to let me just talk through a couple things that are myths that drive me crazy, especially in the entrepreneurial world. Because everybody's an expert, right? Everybody's out there talking about this stuff. And one of the things is you need 20 hours a week to make this happen. This is myth number one. I'm just going to call this myth number one because I believe it's a lie. Now, my problem with this is if you took your schedule and you carved out 20 hours of the week and said, okay, I'm going to go start a company, and you're going to sit down at the computer or whatever activity you think you need to do, and you're going to start doing something. On the first day that you've got 20, or the first day of that week that you've got 20 hours carved out, you're going to be sitting there and saying, I don't know what to do with the 20 hours. It's not like you have 20 hours worth of work compiled ready for you to do. And if you do, it's probably the wrong things. You're focused on the wrong stuff. What you will end up doing, the people that do things like that, they end up doing way too much research, way too much analysis, and they never end up with a product in the market. Don't do that. Don't waste your time. Don't believe this thing. Maybe it's going to take you 20 hours. But at the beginning, it's probably not. It may end up taking you more hours than your day job, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, you are trying to get some momentum. Little chunks of time is all that you need. I mean, just for instance, if you just focus on what are your 3 high leverage activities, and it is not doing a research, it is not filing for an LLC, it is not doing a logo, it is not building a website, it is not all these things that we hear. It is not going to networking events probably. It is all these things that can take up an incredible amount of time. What moves the needle is figuring out what you're doing, clarity, who you're serving, clarity, and creating a clear offer for them. Now that may sound stupid and silly, but if I'm mowing lawns for a living, what is my offer to make your lawn more beautiful? To make your lawn shorter. I mean, however I want to focus on here's what I'm doing. Who's my customer? Well, people with lawns. Maybe people with lawns in my zip code. Okay, I know what I'm doing and who I am serving. Now, maybe that one's too easy. Maybe you're selling a software program. Okay, what does the software do? Software, I work with a lot of software guys. Software is not a product. What does it do? Nobody wants your product. Nobody wants a product or a service. People want their problem solved. What does the software do? And who does it do it for? Is this best used by dental clinics or by auto mechanic shops? Whatever. Those questions right there, that when I talk to you, if me and you get on a Zoom call, or if you're a coaching client of mine and I'm saying, okay, tell me about your offer. What are you doing? Or what do you want to do? And sometimes people don't have any idea, and that's okay. We're starting there. And by the way, if that's where you are, go and check out the Idea Engine to help you generate some ideas. It's a free download. It's some prompts that will help you get started. 20 minutes to get an idea. But you want to work on the high leverage activities. Now, you don't probably know what they are on day one. That's fair. So why do you need 20 hours if you don't even know what to do? You don't. You don't need 20 hours. You just need to start working on clarity. This can be done in minutes. And let me tell you the most powerful tool that you can use right now. It doesn't take you all day. It doesn't even take you sitting down. It doesn't take a quiet moment. It can be going to lunch with somebody who you think is a potential customer. It can be just talking to people who you may think, hey, I do this kind of work. You might buy something from me. Tell me, what do you look for when you hire a blank? Listening to potential customers. That's the $1,000,000 tactic. That will open the doors for you, because you sitting in a room expecting epiphanies to come to you about how to run this business is stupid. It doesn't work. What you need to do is listen to people who could buy your product or service. And so getting in front of them. And I have seen this done. Literally, people just during their day, they would make lunch appointments, breakfast appointments. They would just go meet with people, ask some silly questions. They would make phone calls to friends that they thought might do it. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated. You're at the beginning, you are gathering data, because what you want to do is get real super clear on what the idea is. So let's say you go through the idea engine and you get some really good ideas. Then you want to start clarifying them. And now the idea engine will help you get started in that. It will help you get started in the clarity. But the biggest challenge a business has is, what am I offering and who am I offering it to? And once you know what you are offering, I'm going to build a widget and I'm going to sell it to, dental clinics. Then your job is to now make that offer over and over and over and over and over till you are so sick of hearing yourself talk about the offer, or sending emails about the offer, or sending text messages about the offer. You think everybody and the brother has heard about the offer, but the truth is that's not nobody knows about your offer. That it's just punching it over and over and over again, because you've got to help get the customer educated that you can help them. It's not complicated. 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day can pull the whole thing off. 1 hour a day can start pulling in money. This is, and I'm not exaggerating. I've seen this over and over again. So the first myth that I just want you to bust is when you hear people come on and say, if you want to start a company, it's going to take 20 hours a week. I've heard 15 hours a week. It's going to take you to drop everything and rearrange your priorities and never talk to your kids again. And people tell these horror stories. But look around, you find just the opposite happen. So that's not true. That may be true for some people, and that may be the way people did it. But I don't want to do it that way, and I am sure you don't either. So don't believe these myths. You're looking for the high-profile activities. The second, so that's just a myth. Let me just talk about what has worked. I'm gonna call this the 1 hour escape block, just because I'm so creative. What does 1 hour a day look like? Now, let's think about this. 1 hour a day, you probably are thinking, I still don't even have that, Dale. Yeah, I feel that. 1 hour a day could mean waking up an hour earlier. 1 hour a day could mean as I am driving to work or to wherever I drive, and that's going to back and forth. Like for me, in the city I live in, in most cities, you drive anywhere. You can be a 30-minute drive just to go to the store and back. What are you doing during that time? Now, hopefully you're paying attention to the road and you're driving, but can you be more productive? What are you doing at lunch hour? And I don't mean sitting there and saying, I'm not going to eat lunch, I'm going to starve, but what are you doing? Where are those minutes? How much time are you watching television? Yeah. And so you just kind of want to think about, look at your schedule and say, where can I carve out an hour? And let me tell you, an hour is going to make all the difference in the world. Um, so let me. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, Joseph. I forget Joseph's name, but I've met him at conferences a couple times. There's a software out there. It's called Scrivener, and unless you're a writer, you probably never heard about it. But it's for people who are professional writers, like book authors and things like that. And it's a software. I don't know what it costs, but he had bought this software trying to learn to write a book, if I remember his story right. But it's not super complicated, but the the learning curve was it wasn't Microsoft Word, right? It was a little getting you got to get things set up right, and you got to do that. And he had some frustration, and so what he did is he said, you know what, and he had people he was teaching this course to. So what he started doing says, I think I can build a little video course training on Scrivener. And he said what he did every day is during his lunch break, he would take his laptop, he would go to Starbucks, and he would park in the parking lot. So he had, I think so, he had their Wi Fi, and he would work on the course. And he was recording videos, and basically he was using it and screencasting and catching. And this was, years ago, which is a little harder to do than it is now. He worked on his lunch hour, and he created a course that made him money and was a company. As a matter of fact, when we started the Ask Dr. Callahan, the math program, it was the same thing. We just carved out a little time and said we just need to start packaging this thing together a little bit at a time. And we were there was nothing pretty, there was nothing corporate, there was nothing polished about what we were doing. It doesn't matter. People, you just want to focus on getting from where you are now, which is probably nothing but a bunch of ideas rattling around in your head and really no clarity, or maybe no ideas at all. You want to get from there to where there's something concrete that you can help somebody with. Because you have it. You have a whole bunch of things in your head and knowledge in your head that you can help people with. But have you ever had something kind of complicated where you are trying to help tell somebody, and it's something you know really, really well, and it's complicated, and you're trying to tell somebody, and it's so complicated you haven't really thought through how to explain it to them, right? What's step one? What's step two? What's and so you kind of have to stop and say, well, let's start here. I mean, at the universities, in the school systems, this is what we do, right? We try to, step one, you're learning a new subject. You're learning to program. We're not going to start you off writing a whole bunch of C code or something complicated. It's going to be, and no matter what programming language, it's going to be, let's build a hello world program, a simple line or two of code that does something that they can see and appreciate. But that takes a little effort from the first person who did that to think through, how can I get you started? And that's what you're doing when you're building a product or service, right? You're thinking through, I've got to be able to bubble down all my knowledge to some stupid, simple things, because most people don't want all my complicated jargon in my head. They don't want to listen to all that. They want simple. So that's what you're working on. So that 1 hour a day. So this was a game changer for me because I'm an ADHD person, if that makes sense. And I don't know if I am or not, but let's just say probably most of us are. We, for me, the game changer was when I took my schedule. I was doing consulting at the time, and I opened up my calendar and realized, the day for the consulting world starts at about 8. That's when I can start talking to them. Um, I put on my calendar 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So I figured I'll just start consulting an hour later. And I put on my calendar every day, there was a 2-hour window. Now, probably 7 to 8 is when the reality happened, because I'm at 88, squirrel. Things happened that got in my way. I got distracted. I didn't know what to do. And I just would start with at 7 o'clock. And I remember the first morning I sat down and said, it's 7 o'clock. Okay. What am I doing? I had no idea I had time now on my calendar. I'm sitting there staring at my computer thinking something brilliant is about to come out of my head. And you know what? It didn't. And so my first thing was thinking about what's step one. What am I doing? Who am I serving? The same questions I'm asking you now, and I can't. I wish I would say that took me an hour, but it didn't. It took me a while to think through that. And in other companies I've been involved with and people I've helped, it can take a while to work through that. I could have done that driving. I could have done that in the shower. I could have done that mowing the grass. I could have been doing all of that work, thinking through that at other times. So, but that hour it became a game changer because I realized, oh, this is a moment of focus. And even though that first time didn't trigger me the clear answer I wanted, it triggered me. This is real. I am really in the game. Not sure what I'm doing yet, but I'm in the game. And that was a game changer. I have used that trick of putting time on calendar many times. As a matter of fact, Cal Newport, the book Deep Work, and the magic is just getting some focus, and it helps. And this is not big giant chunks of time. If it's 15 minutes, it will be a game changer. If you say 15 minutes a day, I am going to work on this business. I don't know what the business is. I'm going to download the idea generator and do that until that runs out, and then I got some ideas to run with, and then I'll take the next step. I don't know what that is, and you don't have to know what that is. That's one of the beauties here. You don't have to know the next step. Just take this first step. So I call that the 1 hour escape block because for many of us, that's just been the escape. So the third thing I do want to share here is it's the energy first principle. Most of us have been around and done work enough, and we kind of understand our rhythm during the day, and we also understand all of our interruptions during the day. In 1 hour, I mean, in that 1 hour, it matters when the 1 hour is, right? I made the comment like you're watching television at night, you're burning time. For most of us, the nighttime is not the most effective time for our brains to be really engaging, for us to be actively doing work. It's probably a very difficult time to talk to potential customers. Probably our brain is shut down on emailing anybody or anything like that at that point in the game. You may not be, you may be opposite, and that's perfect. But where is your energy? And a lot of times in the corporate world, we do this stupidly. What we do is the first thing in the morning when most people in the morning is their most creative moments, is their most energetic moments. They will get more done in the morning. And what do? We call meetings, and we suck the life out of them. Now, maybe some of us are energized by the meetings, and that's a powerful tool. But the rest of us, we just went lifeless. All the life went drained right out of our body as we stepped into this meeting and as we sat through the boringness of the meeting. So, if you focus on where your energy is and say, okay, if I'm going to take an hour or 15 minutes, where is the best time? And for most of us, probably you, it's the morning. You probably will be more productive getting up 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier and sitting down and getting at it than you will any other time of the day. You might be like Joseph. Hey, 15 minutes over lunch. I'm doing something during lunch anyway. I'm driving to a lunch appointment, whatever. Think about when that time is. I mean, it is a magical thing, if that makes sense. As a Christian, I probably shouldn't be using the word magical, but okay, it's a wonderful thing. God gives us the ability to within reason, schedule our time and to be being good stewards of our money, to be a good steward of our time. and say, when can I get the best thing out of this? And let me intentionally use some time here to be creative and to create something for me. And this probably is going to sound to you like, wow, this sounds like how I got my workout routine working. Or this sounds like how I want to get my workout routine working. And yeah, it's the same thing. It's not about great big plans. I was having this discussion with somebody the other day that was talking about, they were talking about money issues, and earning money. And I said, and they were talking about all the big plans, and they've created all these plans. I said, throw them away. I love planning. I mean, probably most of us, we love to plan. We love to write out what's going to happen. Plans they're great. What's better is habits. The habits you make is what's going to happen, right? If you make a habit to get up and lift weights, or get up and run, or get up and walk, you're going to see the change, right? It's not going to be magical. It's not going to be on day one. Some days are ugly. Some days are great. If you make the habit to say, I'm going to spend some time working on my company, it's going to be the same thing. It's not going to be magic. You're probably not going to feel an epiphany most days. But if you look back, you're going to be like, I am moving forward in progress. And most importantly, you're going to be moving forward in money. So, tweak it, whatever, experiment with this. It's a powerful tool. You take some control of your time. In the corporate world, you may not have a whole lot of control of what to do with those meetings, even if you're the one who calls the meetings. You still have no control. But we all know this is not a lack of time. It's a lack of priority. It's a lack of clarity. It's a lack of a system. It's a lack of solid habits to get you moving forward. You probably don't know, for many of you that I've talked to, you don't know what to do first. I get it. That's fine. Perfect. You just take step one and take step two. The idea engine will get you on to step one. You'll generate ideas. It'll probably get you well past that. All right. Now I will just tell you. So, the idea engine, it's a free download. It will help you walk through some things. And we have some. If you want to meet with me and brainstorm, I do some of those things where I'm meeting with people over 90 minutes. What I'm about to be doing, though, is working with people for a longer period of time, and just really getting, and the goal of this is to get people to their first $2,000 of income. Revenue, to use the right technical word. To get you to $2,000 of revenue. To get you past the idea, past the stuck, and to where money's rolling in the door. And once you do that, you start... as you can guess, all kinds of things change. And some of you might be seeing with $2,000, that's magical. That will be different. That would change my life to see that happen, not probably the money. And others are saying, well, that's nothing. Yeah, and both of those are accurate. $2,000 is probably not going to change most of our lives if you're in the United States, for sure. But seeing it happen, you being in control of it, will change your life. It doesn't even have to be 2,000, but that's the goal we're going to do. So if you're interested in learning more about that, shoot me an email and say, hey, I'm interested. And I'll just, and I'm just at dale@dalecallahan.com. Nothing fancy. You'll probably see a link to all of these things. So that's it for today. What I would like you to do, if you like this podcast, give me a review, give me a thumbs up, whatever you listen to. I know a lot of people are moving to Spotify, Apple Podcast, whatever tools that you are using. And if you are looking for ideas, or you feel like you got ideas and they're maybe a little fuzzy, download the idea engine and just go through the process. And that's a great 15-minute activity that you can turn into all week if you just want to keep exploring it, and that will help to get you moving. Awesome. So thank you for being here, and I am really, really looking forward to helping you and connecting with you on these ideas.